went bad. You cut these guys loose.
Your Honor.
You had Marcus inside a phony transport.
Your Honor.
You doctored the logbook.
Damn it, Captain.
You coerced the doctor.
Consider yourself in contempt.
Colonel Jessup, did you order the code red?
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Like you, be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe.
Let's listen to Pavarotti.
Can I be your superhero?
Hello, welcome to The Revealing. I am your host, Pavarotti, and I'm here to discuss the Idaho 4 case. Now, we have some new court docs that have hit the case summary. They haven't hit the actual docs yet, so we can't read them, but we can absolutely infer what they are suggesting. And with a quick deep dive, we can look at what's supposed to be going on in the case, look at what just happened in the case, and based on the new information we're given, highly informed opinions about what's about to take place in the case. It's getting real now, folks, because let me tell you, when we go through these, I think the only determination that we can make is it is a Frank's hearing. And based on what the judge said in the hearing a few weeks ago, we can determine approximately when this hearing is going to take place, even before they even post what date it is. So without further ado, let's jump in, take a look at all the new court docs that have hit the case summary. We'll talk about them for just a minute, and then we'll go through and see what we can imply from them. This is going to be fun because things are getting real now. Okay, so here we are in the case summary of the court docs, and the last time that I gave y'all an update on this was after this strange exhibit list log was posted on February the 7th, and they still haven't posted that to the actual docs, and you can see it's locked, so they probably won't. But I anticipated this was an exhibit list for the Franks hearing. Now, since then, on February 10th, we have a motion to extend state's rebuttal expert deadline. Not defense's rebuttal expert deadline, but the state's rebuttal expert deadline. February 10th, state filed a motion. They want more time to extend their rebuttal expert deadline. And then they sealed that motion to extend the state's rebuttal expert deadline. And then they sealed a S1, state's motion for rebuttal disclosure deadline extension. And in response to requests for discovery, the state has responded to defendant's 22nd supplemental request for discovery. And then they filed a motion to seal the state's rebuttal expert for discovery. And the exhibit S1 of the state's response to defendant's discovery has been sealed per the judge. Remember, the judge said he wasn't going to seal things going forward unless there was really good reason. Well, he meant for the defense, I guess, because the only thing he's unsealed was something that would hamper the defense. Nothing so far that would hamper the prosecution. All right, then on the 12th, he sealed the state's exhibit to the rebuttal expert disclosure deadline, the motion they filed. And he ordered, he ordered both of those to be sealed in favor of the state. Nothing has he unsealed hampers the state, only the defense at this point. But before we get into these subpoenas issued, let's talk about this state's motion to extend their rebuttal expert's disclosure. Because if you recall, the defense asked for an extension of a deadline for discovery, and the judge said they did it the day before. So the judge said, you waited till the day before, that's not enough time, I'm denying your motion. But he didn't deny the state's motion, and they filed that on the 10th, and it wasn't the day before, but buddy, let me tell you, that was 2 days before, or 3 days before, because let's look. here's our schedule of things. And you can see that the rebuttal expert guilt phase, February the 13th, which is today, was their deadline. Now, they filed that motion to extend it on the 10th, and they got the extension. But let me tell you how this is not fair right here. Because when you go back and you look, I still have these on our list, the defense's expert list is due January 23rd, and they had that turned in by January 23rd. Well, that was due 5 days after the state's expert list was due on the 18th. So the defense had, the state had 5 days, had 5 days sooner than the defense to produce their expert list. But then when you take these dates and you say, okay, the state's had since the 18th, the defense got an extra 5 days on the 23rd. So that 5 days should be consistent, right? But when you look at the rebuttal experts for the guilt phase, experts to these lists, they're rebutting these experts. Well, the defense had 5 days less than the prosecution to notify of their rebuttal experts. Because from the 23rd to the 13th, 23rd to the 13th, let's see, 31 days. So that is actually, instead of 20 days, that would have been 19 days. But the prosecution, since theirs was on the 18th, that would have been 24 days. So am I doing my math right? 18 to 31 is 13 days. That'd be 16 days. Sorry, 21 to, oh goodness. All right, so 18th to the 31st would be 13 days plus, that'd be 26 days the prosecution has had since they filed their list of experts, 26 days to the date that they were supposed to file their list for rebuttal experts. The defense on the 23rd only had 8 and 13, only had 21 days. So the defense had 21 days less, and they had their rebuttal experts in, and the prosecution didn't ask for a extension of that deadline 3 days before it was due, and the judge granted it. So I think that is BS based on math right there, Judge Hippler, and you're not being favorable to the defense in any way when it comes to that. But that's okay because we know you're being favorable to the defense only because you have to as it regards the Franks. Let's take a look. Because the next 4 things that have hit our docs are on February 12th. We got a subpoena issued. February 12th, subpoena issued, subpoena duces tecum. February 12th, subpoena issued, subpoenas duces tecum. Subpoena issued. So there's 2 subpoenas and 2 subpoenas with duces tecums attached. The duces tecums mean they have to bring documents. Now, let's go back to right before the Franks hearing. Let's see here. Frank's hearing was on the 23rd. And we'll see that right before then, we had a witness list for the motions hearing. And there was a subpoena issued. Did I miss some stuff here? Let's see. That was the first. 1 subpoena, protective order. All right, so we have to keep on going here, huh? Order. Motion to extend time. This went all the way back, didn't it? Whoa. Oh, here we go. Subpoena issued again. There's 2 subpoenas. Subpoena issued, subpoena duces tecum. Was that all? Okay, so 1 subpoena duces tecum and 2 subpoenas. So there is no doubt that these new ones here, Where are we at? There's the hearing on the 23rd. Okay. Right here. All right, these new subpoenas. So we had 3 subpoenas before. One of them was a Deus Tecum. Now we've got 1, 2, 3 subpoenas. One of them's a Deus Tecum, and one of them is another subpoena with a Deus Tecum. That means bring documents with you. So we can absolutely determine that whoever was subpoenaed to the first Frank's hearing has been re-subpoenaed to the Frank's actual hearing. And one of them is an additional subpoena with a Deus Tecum. This thing is getting real now. And we know this is for a Frank's hearing because of this. When you look at what's supposed to be taking place in this case right now, they're supposed to be getting in their penalty experts, which the state has that's penalty. Sorry. They're supposed to be getting in their rebuttal experts for the guilt phase by the state. They've asked for an extension. Everything else has to do with motions in limine that they've already asked for extensions for. And then proposed jury questionnaires. Then it got into the real stuff. There's nothing else. So it's too early for them to file subpoenas to appear for the motions in limine because they won't do that until they get answers on the motions to suppress. Because remember, the motions to suppress will suppress the evidence. Motions in limine excludes the evidence. So until they get answers on motions to suppress, they don't even know what to file a motion in limine for. And the fact that the deadline that the judge extended for motions in limine to the 17th, and then he extended the replies to the 24th. I haven't adjusted this yet. And then he extended it's motions are due on the, I got this backwards or something? Replies to limine, March, I'm sorry. All right, motions in limine are now due the 24th of February. The responses are due, or replies are due I'll have to go through and look at them again. It's the 17th, and then the responses are due the 24th of March. So between now and the 24th, for the motions in limine to be due, and today's the 13th, that's 13 days before motions in limine are due. They have to have answers on all the motions to suppress within that 13-day period. And not to mention, now that we know that there's going to be a Frank's hearing, that means that Frank's hearing has got to take place in the next few days because they have to have enough time for the judge to make a decision, give them their decision, and give them enough time to file motions in limine. And this judge wants to keep the train running on the tracks on the right schedule. He's going to have to get this stuff done now for everything to come to fruition to keep his schedule in place. And he doesn't want to bend his schedule, so you can bet we're going to have a Frank's hearing sometime early next week. That is my prediction in this. So a few things to take away. Number one, the judge giving the prosecution an extension on their deadline for rebuttal witnesses is not consistent with them not giving the defense a deadline extension on their disclosure that they asked for, and the prosecution waited till a couple of days before the deadline. So that's not consistent. Him sealing everything that the prosecution's asking for to be sealed, that's not consistent with the judge saying he's not going to seal as much going further without good reason, and then unseals the defense's declaration of the fact that he had to give over his penalty phase health records and mental records. So that's not consistent. But what is consistent is those subpoenas that were just issued. They're consistent with the Frank's motion. They'll be consistent with the Frank's hearing. In the fact that everything that's in limbo now for the motions to suppress, there's 14 of them. Most of those motions to suppress actually rely on the Frank's motion. The argument for the IGG and the other Frank's issues are all attached to every one of those motions to suppress. So the fact that we now know that we're going to have a Frank's hearing dictates that he cannot rule on any of those motions to suppress until he rules on the Franks. And with the motions in limine due on February 24th, if he wants to keep this train on the tracks and keep the schedule he's tried to keep, he has to have the Franks hearing now. I'm saying early next week. And he has to rule on everything and give everybody enough time to file their motions in limine. So this stuff's getting crazy over the next couple of weeks, folks. But the other thing that we can determine from this is, what did he say in that February 24th hearing? Not the 23rd, but the 24th. The very end of that hearing, he said, y'all go ahead and send me some dates about 3 weeks from now that y'all have available in case I rule that we're going to have a Franks hearing. Well, the 23rd of January, 3 weeks from then, we got till 31, there's 8 days. So 3 weeks would be 24 days, 3 weeks would be 21 days. 21 minus 8 is 13. Well, according to him, we should be having the Franks hearing today. Are they having a Franks hearing today? The Franks hearing is supposed to be open to the public, so we know it's not happening today. Goodness, could we be getting a Valentine's Day present? My prediction is Monday or Tuesday there'll be a Franks hearing. They'll announce it and we'll all freak out over the weekend. But please like and subscribe to the channel. Post your comments, thoughts, criticisms, and until next time, Pavarotti's out.
Can I be your superhero?